Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. What's going on, guys? Now, listen. There's a fight that I really want to see, and I don't think I'm alone as far as people in the sport of boxing that want to see this fight. You got two really great fighters at 140. You have, in one corner, from the Ukraine, long, lanky, can box, can seemingly punch now that he's in America wearing lighter gloves. Viktor the Iceman Postol. Then you got a switch hitting a switch hitting remixed version of Marvin Hagler. You know, a little bit of Marvin Hagler from Omaha, Nebraska, named Terence Crawford, undefeated. You got two great undefeated world title holders in the 140-pound division. They're both the same promotional company, and it is a unification bout. That is a Viktor Postol versus Terence Crawford, a fight the fans want to see. Now, we're hearing conflicting stories here. We're hearing things from Postol's team, and we're hearing another thing from Terence Crawford's team. You don't even know who to believe at the time. But what I will talk about now is Viktor Postol basically came out and he said that he wants a crack at Terence Crawford in June. It's rumored from Bob Arum. I heard it out of his own mouth in person in the flesh because I was there in New York. He said that he wants to bring Terence Crawford to Los Angeles. He wants Terence Crawford to fight potentially a Ruslan Provodnikov, but maybe a Postol, as he also told me, in Los Angeles. So we know that his next fight won't be in New York and it won't be in Omaha, Nebraska, nor will it be in Texas. It'll be most likely in Los Angeles. Which is where Postol won his world title against Lucas Batiste. So I know maybe he has a better following out there than he has a good following out there. Maybe either way, it's a good fight, and it has to happen for the sport of boxing. We need these types of fights to happen in boxing, so these guys can become stars, so the sport can get bigger again. Because we just had a huge fight this Saturday in the UFC with Miesha Tate and Holly Holm, and it really pisses me off that more people in this country know who Miesha Tate is more than they do Terence Crawford, and that shouldn't be the case. So, with that being said, I want to say this. I want to get into this article, BoxingScene.com. Viktor Postol wants a crack at Terence Crawford in June. That's the name of the title of the article is. So, Viktor Postol had some quotes through his manager, Vadim Kornilov, on Saturday morning. He stated, I quote, "I have an interest in fighting Terence Crawford. June is an option we would consider as far as a date." Then Bob Arum had some quotes in regards to this fight. He said, I quote, "I definitely think this would be a great fight. It will be a competitive fight. It'll be interesting for the network and the fans." I think that might actually be what he said to me. So there you have it from Bob Arum. And then Postol also went on to say through his manager, "I'm in shape, I'm training, and I'm ready to go as early as May or whenever." And then Kornilov says, "We're planning on bringing Viktor to the United States by the end of the month." So Viktor's going to be on American soil before the end of this month, probably negotiating some stuff, working out some business. Probably training as well with Freddie Roach. But either way, Viktor Postol is a guy that deserves a big fight. He's the only guy to stop Lucas Batiste. Terence Crawford deserves a big fight. He's had a string of wins over good opponents, maybe slightly overmatched opponents, but still good names. The Yukio Gamboas, the Hank Lundys, the Breedis Prescotts of the world. He's beating those guys, but it's time for Terence to step it up. It's time for Viktor Postol to step it up, and they need each other to become stars in the sport of boxing. Terence isn't going to get the Pacquiao fight most likely, and Viktor Postol, really, as far as I say, this is the fight that needs to happen for him to ascend into that next level of stardom in the sport of boxing. So, I'm gonna play you guys some audio actually. Terence, we know Postol said some things about Terence Crawford not wanting to fight him. I asked Terence about this in New York City at his media workout. You can check the interview here on True School Sports. I'll leave it in a annotation. I'll play some of the audio. I asked the man himself what happened with the Postol fight. Why didn't it go through? And here's what he said. So we're gonna play it back. Here's what he said.
Okay. As far as Postol goes, I know a lot of people, fight fans, want to know why didn't that fight happen. I know that Postol's team and he was saying that there's 50%
Listen,
the table.
listen to this.
All
Listen
right.
to this.
All right.
We asked for that fight. They said they wanted 2 more fights or whatever the case may be. That's what I got word back.
Okay.
it wasn't no Postal calling Terence Crawford out when Terence Crawford didn't have no opponent. Everybody knew I didn't have no opponent and we was looking for an opponent. You didn't hear Team Postal saying, we'll fight him. But then when me and Hank Lundy signed the fight, that's when you hear, oh, Team Postal, we would have fought Terence this, Terence that. It's all for show.
All for show. Okay.
So yeah, from the man himself, he basically said that when he signed the fight with Hank Lundy in New York City, that's when Postal started calling him out, and then he said it's all for show. Now, I haven't done my research, so I'm not going to comment too much on that, but I do know that Postal was calling him out at some point. I don't really care what the case is. I just want these two to fight each other. Terence needs to find a way to get Postal in a room, or Postal needs to find a way to get Terence. They need to make this fight happen, because for these two guys to become stars and get the recognition they both deserve, I think they need each other. I'm not saying it's a super fight, because none of these guys are crossover stars like that, but in order to become bigger stars in boxing, you need to fight the best. I'll give you an example. In the 1990s, when boxing was a little bit bigger, or the 1980s, late 80s, 1990s, when boxing was bigger in this country, and you had guys actually on talk shows, and boxers were promoted a little more. For example, a guy like Michael Nunn needed a guy like James Toney to become, a bigger. He was already a star, but I'm saying James Toney needed Michael Nunn to become even bigger than he was, and eventually he was a 7-1 underdog. He knocked him out, and he went on to have a Hall of Fame career. Same thing here with Terence Crawford and Postal. I'm not sure what the odds would be, but it would be a different look for Terence. Terence would have to fight a guy that's longer, rangier, which is very different from what he's been fighting these last two fights. Last two fights he's fought two guys he brought up from lightweight to 140, and Hank Lundy and Derek Jean, and he was just, his skills and his size were a little bit too much for him. So that's why he ultimately looks so good in those fights, and also because he's a great fighter, he's a talented fighter as well. Also fought Delorme, a guy who's a little bit bigger, did very good against Delorme. So either way, I think Terence is gonna does well against both styles, but I think Postal's another animal. Postal's a lot taller, a lot more rangier than anybody Terence has fought so far, and I think a lot of fans want to see Terence in that matchup, and I know people want to see Postal tested against Crawford. So it's a true 50-50 fight at this point, and I think Terence and his team in Top Rank, and Postal and his team in Top Rank, they need to really just iron this out, because it's getting frustrating that we can't, as fans, as people who love the sport, if you're someone like me, people who cover it, live this, sleep it, breathe it, shed tears over it. We love boxing, and we want to see what's best for the sport, and see it get that mainstream recognition it deserves, because it pisses me off that more people in this country know who Misha Tate is than they do Terence Crawford. Terence Crawford. That's not how it should be. And the reason it's like that is because Terence isn't in the fights that people want to see him in. So that's what it is. It's my 2 cents. Let me know what you guys think. Postal, Crawford, potentially in June. That's what Postal's throwing out there. What do you think will happen? When does this fight happen? Does it happen this year? Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Take the time to subscribe, and you can love me or you can hate me, but I'm just a kid from Dania. So until next time, take care, guys.